world. Trump don't even like you.
I got more questions, but I tell you, if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, then you ain't black.
We not black.
Besides You Ain't Black, what do you have to say to young black voters who see voting for you as further participation in a system that continually fails to protect them?
1977, Biden wrote, "Dear Mr. Chairman, I want you to know that I very much appreciate your help during this week's committee meeting in attempting to bring my anti-busing legislation to a vote." Then in 1978, Biden again asked Eastland to put his anti-busing bill before the full Senate, writing, "Your participation in the floor debate would be welcomed."
They locked a bunch of black folks up and they knew what it was. It wasn't a war on drugs. It was a war on black folks and every other poor American that they didn't give a fuck about.
Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids.
We already have a there. We don't need any more big shot.
They're going to put you all back in chains.
You got the first sort of mainstream African American who was articulate and bright and clean and nice looking guy. I mean, that's a storybook, man.
This is what the left and Democrats actually think about black Americans.
Yes, and by the way, what you all know, but most people don't know, unlike the African American community, with notable exceptions, the Latino community is an incredibly diverse community with incredibly different attitudes about different things.
When I look at Joe Biden and I look at the 94 crime bill and I look at the 88 crack laws, like that's not being in support of African Americans. Giving the eulogy at Strom Thurmond's funeral and saying Strom Thurmond was a great man. I just want to know why you thought that desegregationists were great. By the way, look, we all evolve, we all grow, we all can learn from our mistakes. I just haven't heard him say that those things were mistakes yet.
We know Joe Biden's been in New York. When is he on your show?
Joe Biden has offered to send his surrogate. So that tells me a lot about what Joe Biden thinks about our audience. You know, I think Joe Biden might be suffering from that same white entitlement and privilege and ego, where he's just that old school white male who feels like, hey man, they need me, I don't need them, or I got them already.
I've got a lot of minority friends that support Trump, and let me tell you, their comment sections are hilarious. Through all the blatant racism, I usually find a comment that says, "He doesn't even like you." Well, I hope they're not 18 to 24 years old, because their VP has some very choice words about them.
What else do we know about this population, 18 through 24? They are stupid. That is why we put them in dormitories, and they have a resident assistant. They make really bad decisions.
I guess she is partially right. Also, last time I was in college, the RAs were like 18 to 24. I want to say the majority of that age range is actually voting for her and Biden. So I'd just like to remind you, she doesn't even like you.
Nice. Nice. Nice.
They tryna silence me, but I won't let it happen. Smooth criminal adult Michael Jackson. We non-fiction in a world that's full of capping. Give an Oscar to these people cause they acting. Move different in this town. When these people come around, they'll shut your ass down for the wrong view. They gon' make sure you conform, ask you up and make you whores. They'll take your firstborn, what we